All right, what is up? We are live the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, so if we see each other before then. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. A little bit of news to cover here today. Roger Penske has announced that he wants, or he's hopeful that NASCAR and IndyCar can have some double headers in the future. This from NBC Sports. Roger Penske says he has not had any conversations with NASCAR about the topic, but the man who owns a championship cup organization and the NTT IndyCar series touts the notion of both series sharing a doubleheader weekend as they once did at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So, what's interesting right there in that very first line is that he hasn't had any conversations with NASCAR about it. And it seems to me like there is such a interest, at least from both sides. I think there's an interest from NASCAR fans. I think there's a natural interest from IndyCar fans. And I think you saw that with Kyle Larson attempting the Indy 500, that there were a lot of fans that would be willing to do crossover viewership of both of those events. And the fact that NASCAR hasn't come to the table and had any conversations with him, that's very interesting because NASCAR, at least recently, has been on this kick of making these big events, these big promotions, Clash at the Coliseum. This year we're going to the Madhouse. NASCAR has been on a kick, the Chicago Street Race. NASCAR has been on a kick of these spectacle events, and you would imagine that that would be a spectacle event. But it's interesting that NASCAR hasn't thought about it like that, or at least reached out and had a conversation with them. But the fact that he's hopeful means maybe he'll bring it up. And he also has a Long Beach date that could be a doubleheader right there, and that could help out NASCAR with their California date, at least until they get the track built, if they ever get the track built down there in Fontana. Let's continue here, though. Penske made the comment Friday ahead of the NASCAR Awards, which will honor Team Penske's Joey Logano for winning his season's Cup championship. We might see, as we did with NASCAR doubleheaders, Penske said, I haven't talked about this. I'm not announcing anything, but think about it. Indy, we ran a doubleheader there with IndyCar and NASCAR. So there you go. Even at the award ceremony, he was talking about it. And he said he doesn't have anything to announce or anything like that. But the fact that he's thinking about it and wants to do it, that to me, if I'm NASCAR, that's really all I need to hear because he owns the IndyCar series. I know it was successful. Penske said of the doubleheader weekend at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which Penske owns, we could see it with the fan base at Indy. So there you go. There you go. Might do. It seems to me like he's focusing on Indy. Maybe NASCAR could reach out there and possibly get them to do the Long Beach Grand Prix. Maybe that would be a good doubleheader. Do a little trade off. Two doubleheaders are better than one. But it's really interesting that he wants to do one, and I think that would be a good deal for the sport overall. And one of those things that during championship week, I guess it sort of flew under the radar, or at least I didn't see too much about it. So I thought it was kind of interesting. And hopefully they can get it done, whether it's Long Beach or Indianapolis or wherever they do it. I think it would be a cool event to have the doubleheader going on once again. Also saw in the news here from the racing experts that Greg Biffle wants to run another Daytona 500. The 19-time NASCAR Cup Series winner who last raced in the Daytona 500 in 2022 would like to have another shot competing in the Great American Race. Yet at this time, Biffle does not have a ride lined up for next year. I don't have anything in the works right now. So I would say Daytona in February is probably slim, Biffle said on the Let's Go Racing with David Starr podcast. So I think we've seen what Greg Biffle can do, especially at plate tracks. He's definitely still got it. Even when he was racing lower level equipment, he was able to get it into the field. He was able to make some moves before either getting taken out by a wreck or sometimes the equipment just wasn't there to actually be competitive in the race. But Greg Biffle definitely still has it, especially at plate tracks. Now, maybe other tracks, he might not be adjusting to this car as well as he would in the old car, but I think he's definitely still he would still be a contender at a plate track. There's no doubt about that in my mind, and hopefully he can find something that puts him in a seat. Another story from Daytona, two Daytona stories, and we're not even to December yet, but Martin Truex Jr. Told the Sportsnaut at least that JGR is going to be who he runs the 500 with, and it opened up a few questions there. But let's read this from the Sportsnaut. Martin Truex Jr. still anticipates entering the Daytona 500 in February with Cole Pearn serving as crew chief, but doesn't expect it to happen under the 2311 banner. Of course, 2311 is who he was expected to go with until the lawsuit and all that stuff happened. Now he's saying it's going to be Joe Gibbs. The Daytona 500 start was originally pitched as a joint 2311 Joe Gibbs racing effort, but now I'm not sure what they're doing. Honestly, Truex said, kind of up in the air. I just told Gibbs JGR is doing it somehow, so we'll see. And that's from the Sports Night. And that raised a lot of eyebrows because, according to, I think it was Brad Keselowski that said this. I might be wrong on that quote. But under this new charter agreement, you can only have 3 cars. Some of the cars were grandfathered in to have 4 cars, like Hendrick and Joe Gibbs Racing. But you can't if you have those 4 cars or those 3 cars, you can't run an extra car. So I would imagine the workaround for this is that they are going to borrow somebody's charter or run as an open team and borrow that team's number, maybe for points or something like that. But you're going to have to borrow another team's number at the very least, if not their charter. So you could see a situation where the 78 maybe gets borrowed. That would sort of be very fitting, right? He gets to run the 78 with Cole Pearn one more time in the Daytona 500. So maybe BJ McLeod allows him to run that. But I think BJ McLeod's running, but maybe BJ McLeod runs a different number and lets Martin Truex Jr. run the 78. It would help BJ McLeod with points for that car number and so on and so forth. And BJ McLeod could run something else and Martin Truex Jr. could do his deal there. That's just the one that I thought of off the top of my head. I'm not saying that'll happen or anything like that, but it would be super cool to see Truex be able to pull that off. And it won't be a BJ McLeod car. It'll be a Joe Gibbs car, but it'll be under the BJ McLeod banner. That basically makes it legal. You're going to probably see a lot of this now that they've limited the teams to three charters or whatever going forward, or whatever happens with the lawsuit going forward. So found that pretty interesting as well from the Martin Truex camp. And the one that sort of really caught a lot of people's attention here today is NASCAR Rumor Nostalgia. Great follow on Instagram if you're not following them. They've got some good stuff, and they're usually spot on with what they're talking about. They said apparently the new EV car is far enough along in development that manufacturers are making and submitting body designs to NASCAR. And there's the second sentence in this is going to be what gets everybody talking. So we'll talk about that second sentence here in just a second. But the new EV series is really interesting because it's got all these other manufacturers interested in it, and they're already ready to submit bodies. Now, this will be completely separate from the Cup Series. It won't have anything to do with the Cup Series. It'll be a support series like Xfinity, like Trucks. So no need to really get up in arms about it. And looking at it from that perspective, I am kind of excited to see it from that perspective, because it'll just be a support series. Maybe they run it before Cup races. That would be my suggestion, because that way you get a little bit of traction. And also, you should probably put some of your veteran drivers in here, like a Greg Biffle, like a Ward Burton, like any guy that you can from the past that you can get in there and put in this series. It would generate some interest, because then you would immediately have somebody to pull for. A lot of people aren't going to follow it because it's electric cars. But if you put some of those guys in it, they'll follow up like, hey, you know what? I don't really care about the electric car thing, but it is cool to see Greg Biffle or Ward Burton or somebody like that run again. So I think that is one of the things. Also, it's still going to be run by Dana White's company. So Dana White will have some involvement in it. He's going to be behind it. They're the same ones, I think, that were running Nitro Cross for Travis Pastrana. So hopefully they have a little bit better results here with this deal, because it looks like Nitro Cross is going to take a year off, or at least ended their season early, and hopefully they get their next season underway. So super interesting as far as that goes for the EV stuff. We'll see how far they've come with it and what they got going on with that. But that's not what everybody's talking about in that quote. The second sentence in here, the 2026 Chevy Cup body is well on its way also. Now, of course, we heard the rumors that Chevrolet had a body in the wind tunnel and that nobody's talking about it. Greg Hard has made at least 2 or 3 videos about it, talking about nobody at Chevrolet will talk about it. It's sort of one of those things, persona non grata is what you would become if you talked about it. So they have a body. What they name it, to me, is not as interesting. There's a lot of people like, oh, they're going to name it the Camaro or the Chevelle or whatever. To me, that's not as interesting. But the fact that they have a body that they've been testing now for over a year, and it's going to be ready, it looks like, for 2026. And whatever they name it is whatever they name it. It could be Lumina, Monte Carlo, whatever. You know what I mean? To me, that's not as interesting. But it'll be ready for 2026. So this will be the last year we see the 2025, which is not even in production, Chevrolet Camaro, unless they name this car Camaro again. And so that's going to be another interesting aspect But it looks like we do finally have a date on when Chevrolet will bring its new body in. And then, of course, a lot of people just, going back and forth on what the name is going to be, but that doesn't really interest me as much. And then the final thing I wanted to touch on, because it was just kind of ironic that it sort of popped up like this, being near Thanksgiving and all that. You're supposed to be giving thanks for all these things, and some people are thankful that they have something to bitch about. You see, I saw at least two or three. Actually, I saw one in the comment section of the video I made about Florence, and I've seen some other social media posts, people complaining that Dale Jr. qualified 50th and still made the main event. uh, Literally, people were complaining about that. Well, let me tell you something. No, not one single driver at Florence had a problem with Dale Jr. being in that race. Just about every single one of those fans. I think I saw one fan with an Austin Dillon jacket on, and I saw two fans who I'm pretty sure were trolling, and I want to give a massive shout out to them. They were wearing Miller Lite t-shirts, like full crew Miller Lite t-shirts, while everybody else was wearing Bud. So I was like, that is awesome. Shout out to those two guys. And one dude, and like I said, an Austin Dillon jacket. Everybody else there had Budweiser stuff on or was working for a race team at the racetrack. So everyone there wanted to see Dale Jr. race. Everyone purchasing it on Flow TV wanted to see Dale Jr. race. It's an absolute no-brainer that Dale Jr. was going to race in that race, whether or not he qualified for it or not. Nobody had a problem with it, except for like some people. There's like two kinds of people that I can think of that might have a problem with it. One would be somebody that is just not a Junior fan, like they never pulled for Junior. They just, it's sports. That's the guy that they hated, right? So maybe that person would have a problem with it. And then the other person that I could see having a problem with it is just somebody that's just going to be freaking miserable all the time. They're always just going to have something to complain about. You can complain about a lot of things at Florence, but Dale Jr. being in the race, I don't understand. I don't know how you could possibly be upset about that. They gave 4 provisionals. I don't see anybody talking about any of the other provisionals that they gave. So I find it funny that right here at Thanksgiving, people literally still finding stuff to complain about. But so is life. You're more than welcome to complain about that stuff. So it is what it is. But on the theme of Thanksgiving, what is your favorite Thanksgiving side? Is it stuffing, biscuits and rolls, mac and cheese, or mashed potatoes with gravy? Once again, YouTube only gives me 4 options. I would have put cranberry sauce in there, collard greens, and other stuff as well, but I only get 4 options. And right now, stuffing is winning at 44%, 15% for biscuits and rolls. In a shocker to me, mac and cheese is only at 7%, and I am taken aback and offended by that. I will never get over it because mac and cheese is clearly the best. 34% for mashed potatoes with gravy. So we'll leave that poll up and keep it going, and then we will jump into what you guys would like to talk about. Let's see. Shy saying you got to have stuffing. Happy Thanksgiving from Camaro. What's up, Camaro? A balmy 34 degrees here, 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Tomorrow, warmest is going to be the warmest it is for the next 7 days, says Mark Barnum. Good evening, everyone, says one wise guy. What's up in between the lanes? Good to see you as well, my friend. Mark Barnum saying what's up to Wise. Let's see. Wise saying what's up to Mark and Sean. In between the lanes saying BB and I are testing at VIR. We are just as soon as the birds are put up, while everybody is going to be Black Friday shopping. Me and Lanes are going to be at VIR getting that thing shook down for one Chase Briscoe next season. Just kidding. This is Earth 2. These are Earth 2 facts, just for anybody wondering. What's up, BB and crew? Happy Thanksgiving to all you. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, T Van. What's up, like, dislike? They could do a doubleheader in Iowa, says Mark Barnum. That would be interesting. That's one that people don't really bring up a lot, but I feel like the Iowa crowd is going to sell out, and I feel like they do a pretty good job every time they go there, at least for the Cup Series. And I don't follow IndyCar as good. All my IndyCar knowledge basically comes from David Land. So I imagine the IndyCar deal sells out as well. Crystal Sparkles, what's up? Happy Turkey Day, BB, and everyone out there. Haircut looks good. I appreciate you there, Crystal Sparkles. And happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Camara saying, what's up to Zach? In between the lanes. BB, I listened to the Let's Go Racing podcast. That one's new to me, but they broke some news there for sure. I can't remember which of those stories that they broke, but they broke some news there for sure. So that's really cool that they got that going on. I'll have to check it out. I'm not familiar with it. I'm not familiar with their game. I'll have to go check them out. Matt Hunter, if NWP added you to their rotation, even if it was just sporadically, you'd be my favorite panelist, says Matt Hunter. Well, they do a great job over there. They do a really good job. They've been doing it for a long time. And hopefully they continue to keep doing it for a long time at a high level. And if they ever want to have me on, I'm definitely open to be on there. No doubt about it. Let's see. Blue Jimmy, the moderator. I met him at Martinsville. He's a super cool guy as well. BB, please send your winning juju for the Niners, says Crystal Sparkles. It's been a rough year. We're going to need to get the quarterback healthy before we take another. I think before we get another win. Not looking good. Not a good looking year so far. I'll say that. Unfortunate season, but maybe we can get a run going here before the playoffs start. I'd give anything to watch Junior run one more 500. He still loves to race, says T-Van. Yeah, and he had a great car. That was the other thing about it. It's not like he got the provisional and didn't do anything with it. Dude drove up to second place. Like he had a rocket ship. He just messed up in qualifying, and everybody was there to see him anyway. So I don't know. I don't know why people had a problem with it. Dude drove his butt off. I feel terrible for him that his fuel pump went out because I do think he was going to challenge Lapsovich for the lead. I feel bad for Josh Berry too. I think he got a bad set of tires or something. Something happened. Josh Berry had a really good car, and then that I don't know, got a bad set of tires, and it didn't react the way it had the first half of the race after they changed tires. In between the lanes, I hope they make a Truex Junior car, even though it's only for the 500. I'm pretty sure they will. Does Truex have to race a Toyota? He's retired. It strikes me he can jump to any ride he can get, says Camaro. Yeah, he's not manufactured. I wouldn't think he's still under a manufacturer's contract, but obviously running JGR equipment, it is what it is. Like if you can run JGR equipment, you might as well run it because it's pretty good stuff. Hearing that GM still wants the Chevrolet brand in NASCAR Cup Series in 2026, probably whatever it is, won't be in production by 2027, says TND. That's an interesting thought, too. I'd seen some of that, and I should have mentioned it there when I was talking about it. Will the race car be on the track before you can actually buy it in the showroom? That's going to be an interesting concept too. It's just so many unknowns, but the fact that they have it ready would lead you to believe that they at least have the production car ready, unless they're going to go backwards and do a race car and then build a production car off the race car. I don't think they would do that. So hopefully, once it hits the racetrack, you will also at least be able to buy it at some point that year. Krusty's saying wall button 28. So Krusty's point for Ward Burton there. Howdy from Kanukistan. They pulled out my tooth, so I'm drunk and grumpy, but I'm here. I had my cat shirt on in the chair to stay tough. Brush your teeth, says Robin Morris. There you go. Take care of your teeth because you only get two sets, and the first set falls out rather early on in life, and the second set you got to take care of for a longer period of time than the first set. Tesla Racing Series, LOL, says Mark Barnum. I mean, you could see. Honestly, I could see Tesla jumping in there and having a car in that series, especially the way they're shaped. It kind of looks like a Tesla 3. So it'll be interesting to see what manufacturers. I imagine Honda, Nissan's pretty big in electric cars. Hyundai's got a lot of electric cars going on. I could see a bunch of them jumping in there, and then obviously Ford with the Mach 3, Chevrolet. They've vowed that they're going to go all electric, so they'll have something there. And Dodge has that electric Charger looking thing. So I could see Dodge being in there. I could see actually a ton of manufacturers in the electric thing, believe it or not. It would kind of be the opposite of what we got going on in the Cup Series. We might have more manufacturers than we know what to do with in that one. Sponsored by Wawa or Sheets, says Krusty. That would be that's something they could work there. Wawa or Sheets, that would be a big win because they've sort of got like Wawa versus Sheets is like a really big competition between those two brands. So that'd be interesting. I'm a 7-Eleven man myself, but Wawa versus Sheets is that could be super competitive. I could see that. I could see that being something there. Sort of like UPS versus FedEx back in the day with Dale Jarrett and I guess Denny Hamlin, and then David Reagan and whoever cycled through the UPS stuff. I could see ARCA becoming the EV series as like dislike. No, I don't think it'll do that. I think it'll just be an extra series, just like back in the day before the truck series existed, and then they brought the truck series. I think that's what's going to happen with the EV series. I don't think it'll actually replace anything that's actually going on right now. But they might. You never know. Interesting thought for sure. Krusty, my cup always be Winston's son, says Krusty. Chevy Dill Pickle, says Mark Barnum. Well, if it's the Chevy Dill Pickle, will Todd Gilliland, Pickle Todd, drive it? I think Junior will field a cup car for Truex for the 500 partnership with RCR Hendrick for the car, says T Van. I don't know. He seems to think it's going to come from JGR, and I think he's just going to get a number from somebody else. That's what I think, but you never know. It's last season was wild. If this season is as wild as last season, I don't know if I'll be able to contain myself. Krusty, LOL. Dale brought the people to Florence. Indeed, that's as packed as I've ever seen Florence in my entire life. So he did a great job bringing the people out there, and shout out to all the fans that came out too. I mean, they did a great job. They were there, being loud and rowdy for the entire time until he fell out of the race, and then they. Fair play to him. As soon as he fell out of the race, that's who they were there to see, and they left. A lot of people were talking about that. I was like, well, I mean, that's sports. When your team gets blowed out, you go and leave the stands, and when your driver falls out of the race, there's no shame in leaving the stands because that's who you came there to see. So I didn't have a problem with that either. It also probably helped with traffic because they actually ran out. So that was the other thing. Like I forgot to mention that they had so many people there that they actually ran out of parking spots in the lot, and people were like parking up and down the sides of the road. They actually had to put out a social media post saying, "We have no more tickets. We have no more parking. Please, nobody else come to the racetrack." It was insane. How many people? Not how many. I've seen more people, but how many people were at that spot? Like you had never seen that many people at that spot. It was super impressive, super cool. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know any other way to put it. And like I said, yet still there were people upset that Junior made the main event. Like, like what world are we living in here? Let's see. Stuffing is super overrated, says Steakhouse. I'm with you. I am not. Stuffing only tastes good because the to me turkey is so dry. Stuffing actually sort of moistens up the turkey, and then you put the gravy on it. It's a combination. Like those three things, you have to eat them together because I can't eat stuffing by itself. Obviously, you can't eat gravy by itself because you would fall over and have a massive coronary. And turkey, you never eat turkey by itself. You eat turkey on a sandwich. You have to have it with something. So to me, the stuffing is overrated. Turkey to me is overrated, but like mac and cheese, like I don't understand why mac and cheese is at 8%. Let's cry some more. Cry some more. Anyway, mac and cheese has got to be like up there. I can understand mashed. I thought mashed potatoes and gravy would win, but I didn't see stuffing running away with it here at 44%. Mashed potatoes and gravy making a strong effort here at 34%. Biscuits and rolls at 14%. I thought they would finish last, and I thought mac and cheese would have a stronger showing here at 8%. But it shows what I know. So it shows what I know. Let's see. Great take on the Florence race. You got to have Dale Jr. out there, and I think most drivers in the field appreciate that. Yeah, because here's the other thing that a lot of people weren't thinking about. You want Dale Jr. in the field as a driver because you want to be like, guess what? When you're telling your grandkids or your children, guess what? I raced against Dale Jr. This is the race. I'll show it to you. This was me racing Dale Jr. That's cool. And also, I mean, he wasn't the only one in that field. You know what I mean? Like Josh Berry was out there, Connor Jones. There was Cup talent out there as well. If you ran the limited race, Keelan Harvick was out there in the limited race, had Trackhouse on the side of his car. Breaking news: ding, 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 ding. Trackhouse on the side of Keelan Harvick's number 62 Hunt Brothers Pizza Chevrolet Camaro. So there you go. They weren't really hiding it, so I assume they're okay with everybody knowing that Trackhouse and Keelan Harvick apparently have something going on. Sweet potatoes says Crystal Sparkles. Krusty says pie. Yeah, I was gonna put desserts on there for sure, but I only had, of course, 4 options as always on the YouTubes. Dirty Diff. This guy's like Bobby Labonte or Ryan Newman would be good candidates for EV series. I agree. They're still active on the modified scene and and the fans know who they are. That's a good point. And pretty much anybody you got from the SRX series, I think would work too. Because you wouldn't have to pull just NASCAR drivers. You could pull other drivers as well from other series, sort of like the SRX, except it would be electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. If you try my baked mac and cheese, you would vote for it. Says like dislike. There we go. Another vote for mac and cheese. We're gonna turn the tables here. What's up, Lovey Barkley? Good to see you in here, my friend. If California builds a new track, it will be for EV. Says PC Gone Rogue. T Van saying gotta have deviled eggs. Yeah, deviled eggs. I wanted to put that on there too. That's another one I wanted. But like I said, only had four options. David Land went to the Las Vegas Grand Fix. Yeah, I like the way he titled his video too. That was really cool. I went to the Las Vegas Grand Prix so that you didn't have to. That was a good title. I liked his title there. Solid work as always from D Land. How about the double header with the Roval at a new date? Says Jamie Schweitzer. They might could do that. They might could do that for sure. Finally home from the road, excited for Turkey Day. Wife and mother-in-law giving Thanksgiving from Ruth Chris. Hey, there you go. That's a fancy Thanksgiving, my friend. Same amount of money as the store. No cleaning, no cooking, and delicious. Hey, there you go. You got it figured out, my dude. You got it figured out. Cleanup is easy, and you get to spend more time with each other talking about stuff instead of slaving over the grill there or the I guess it's the oven for Thanksgiving. I guess it depends on where you're at. West Coast is the grill, I would imagine. Like if the temperature is good enough on the West Coast, you'd be out there grilling. I would think. Florida, maybe it's still warm enough in Florida to be grilling too. I don't know. I don't know. Today is Dale Jarrett. Oh, happy birthday, DJ. We were just talking about some UPS stuff a minute ago. So happy birthday to old DJ there. Forever young. Good call. T Van says Krusty deviled eggs. That's a great one. Yeah, for sure. Deviled eggs is a good one. No doubt about it. Happy birthday, Dale. Happy birthday, Ruth's Chris. Nice. Y'all got money, says Krusty. Junior breaking so fans had more time with him. Was a win for junior fans. For sure. For sure. On his show, Dale said the Ducat's company is ordering the tool to do late models. I don't know much about that world. It sounds big. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure what that's all about. Let's see. Before I came to your live stream, BB, I was watching the Icebergs live stream. He said January 29th is season 8 of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. All right. Right on. Good to go. So another excellent season for those dudes. Those are good dudes too. Super cool dudes for sure behind the scenes. Dale had a good set going into halfway. Yeah, he had a good the second half of his race was good too until whatever the caution came out with like 25 or 30 or something like that to go. And he just randomly like pulls off the track and I'm like, what's going on? And then they tried to put fuel in the car and then he didn't go back out. And then, later on, one of my buddies texted me that his fuel pump had broke. So I was like, that sucks. And then you just saw like everybody leaving the stands, which actually probably helped with the flow of traffic that, it was sort of cycled out that way. Krusty, not really. It cost basically the same as buying everything from the store. You save the entire day of cooking and cleaning. So yeah, so there you go. If you value your time, you can make an argument. If you put a monetary value on your time for Thanksgiving, you can make the argument that it actually comes out cheaper. So there you go. Hello, Burger, and everyone else. What's up, Mike G? Okay, good call. Say Kyle says Krusty. Talking about the Ruth Chris. We're on to the Ruth. We're gonna go Ruth Chris. It's Ruth's Chris, I think. Strategy. Let me hold on. It's gonna drive me insane because I can't remember how to say it. Yeah, Ruth's apostrophe S, Chris. Ruth's Chris. I'm not going to say that a bunch of times in a row, though, because that's a lot of enunciating, and I suck at the English language anyway. BB on Diecast Depot shop's website. I have a long wish list. Hey, there you go. Tell your family and friends. Let them know. In between lanes, we'll take all donations for gift cards at the Diecast Depot. Let's see here. Oh, the diecast. Oh, yeah. He's probably sold more though. He probably sold more diecast that day than any single cup driver will sell the rest of the year. There's probably more pre-orders for that Dale Jr. number 8 diecast late model than any cup driver will probably sell all year, including Chase Elliott, including Kyle Larson. The only maybe Kyle Larson came close to him this year with the double set, like where he did the Coke 600, Indy 500. Maybe Kyle Larson would have crept up and gotten close to it, but I doubt it. I doubt it. I bet Dale Jr. sold probably more diecast this weekend than anybody in Cup did this year. Mashed potatoes and gravy, says Mike G. That's what he's going with there. I like the mashed potatoes and gravy. I'm a little more partial to macaroni and cheese, but they're all good, man. Like they're all good. I'm not a huge fan of stuffing, but once you put the gravy and the turkey with it together, it does go well. And then you can't go wrong with biscuits and rolls. I throw collard greens in there, and some people mentioned earlier deviled eggs. A lot of deviled egg fans out there. Deviled eggs taste good going down. I don't like the after effects from the rest of the family members, so I can't say that I'm a fan of deviled eggs for that particular reason. But they are a favorite of many. Let's see. What if Truex did the ultimate troll and won a truck championship before KGB to become the only all series champ? Says Cody Ledger. Look. If I was Martin Truex Jr., I'd be thinking about it mighty hard because the Truck Series they don't have as many races as the Cup Series. So go out there and get you one. I saw that too. Wise guy Lionel isn't going to miss out on the cash cow. Says I say Kyle. Happy Thanksgiving. What's up, B? To everyone just getting home, want to sleep for a full day. I feel you. That's basically how I felt as soon as I got home from Florence. I think I fell asleep at like 6:30 and I didn't wake up till 8 o'clock the next day. 8 o'clock in the morning the next day. That would have been epic. 6:30 at night until 8 p.m. Then oh my god, that would have been epic. That's hibernation standard at that point. How we've discussed teams having a secret test track. It seems like Martinsville wouldn't be hard to replicate by creating a small test track. Best setup to get the car to turn. Yeah, yeah. Short tracks would be the easiest ones to recreate because of the land and all that. So that could be the one for sure. Welcome back, B, says one wise guy. B is back from a massive vacay. So welcome back. Welcome back, B. During the post-race interview, Josh Berry said he made some changes to the car that ruined the handling. Oh, okay. So there you go. Him and Marcus, I guess, or I don't know I think Marcus was crew chief in his car. I can't remember. Anyway, I guess they got off on it. I thought they got a bad set of tires. I don't know. It stinks though. He had a really really fast race car. It stinks that it went the wrong way on him. B saying peace, calling it now. Martin Truex Jr. runs a Ty Gibbs Racing unchartered car for the Daytona 500. Hey, there you go. That could happen. That could happen for sure. Mark Barnum saying what's up to B. Say Kyle saying what's up to B. I ate so much on vacation. I don't care about cooking this week, says Bumblebee. That's a bad week to not care about cooking, B. Come on now. You gotta get in the game here. I understand what you're saying though, for sure. Florence tripped me out with the wall. What wall? There's only a wall on the front stretch. I don't know if they showed it on TV. Did you see the guy that got wrecked? And I can't remember if it was in the late model or if it was in limited. But one guy got wrecked right where you enter the track. He got wrecked. He got slung outside the gate there. I was like, thank God he didn't hit anything, because I was like, oh my God, like it was like a perfect storm there. But the entry gate, he got spun at the entry gate because there's no entry gate. It's just the entry. So that was wild too. 7-Eleven, proud to be the official convenience store of In Between the Lanes. There you go. 7-Eleven is the bomb.com. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone in your family, says George Hassler. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, my friend. Saves fenders, I reckon, says Krusty. Oh, yeah. Now, we did talk about that. And that's actually why I like Florence. If you get spun anywhere where there's not a wall, you just go off the track and your car is fine for the most part, unless you, oh God, I forgot who it was. Somebody tried to come right back. Oh, I know who. I don't want to say their name. I don't want to embarrass nobody. Anyway, somebody came back on straight. Like you're supposed to come back on the track at an angle so you don't mess up your car. And they told him to come back on the track straight. And they told him to come back on the track at an angle. And he did come back on the track at an angle, a 90-degree angle. And he he roughed up the truck arms. We'll leave it at that. Not going to embarrass anybody. But it was a learning moment. It was a learning moment. But as long as you don't do that, your car will be safe. Florence is a great track if you ever get a chance to go to it. So check it out. Steve Zacharias is the guy that runs it. I think he owns it too. So go down there, check him out. Great track. It's always have a good time when I go down there. There's plenty of stuff to do down there. It's right. It's close enough to Myrtle Beach that you could make a whole trip out of it if you really wanted to. It's close to south of the border. It's close to a Buc-ee's. A lot of good stuff going on there. South of the border is like a tourist trap on the North Carolina, South Carolina border, off of 85 or 95. I think it's off of 85. I can't remember. Anywho, Earth 2 Pickleman wins the Vlasic 300 or the Mount Olive 400, says Jamie Schweitzer. Hey, there you go. Pickle Todd winning the Mount Olive 400 on Earth 2. I seriously don't get it. If Gordon ran a '90s DuPont late model in New Smyrna, I'd still stay for the end of the race if he retired from mechanical issues, says Sakal. A lot of them did. Like they made a little bit too much of it. There was still a good amount of people. There was still a good amount of people in the stands. It just when you see that amount, that massive amount of people, when just a few, there was probably still 2 or 3 thousand still in the stands. But when you see 2,000 leave and you've been crowded all day with just a mass of humanity, it just feels it feels like there's a way less people there, and it is because half of them left. But there was still a good portion that stayed there for sure, no doubt about it. Battery tech has a long way to go before EVs are convenient, affordable, and dependable as ICE vehicles. I agree with you 100% there, Timber Ace, and that is why they're racing them. That's part of the R&D of it. And the other reason that they're sticking around is allegedly, according to DARPA, their YouTube channel and stuff like that, the military likes them because electric engines give off a lower thermal footprint, so they're harder to track with thermal. So that is why the military likes them. So they've got these hybrids that run fully electric when they're not running diesel. So at nighttime, they're running on the electric. So that is why they're pushing the electric side of it. They do have solid state batteries. They're not made to the public yet because I guess they haven't got them all the way figured out, or they're just not being like, DARPA gets something figured out 20 years later, civilians get it. But yeah, so that the military, if to answer everybody's question, why do they keep chasing EVs? The military has applications for them, and the military, whether it works or not, the military will chase something down until the end of time and just make sure it doesn't work before they give up on it. So that's part of the push. The other push is, whatever. I don't know. The other push is political, in my opinion. So that's that, and I'm not going to talk about that. But the military is a big part of the push for it as well. Military contracts keep people in their houses. Let's see. They said a red sedan was parked on the side where there was no wall, and a car came off the track and hit it. I didn't hear that. It's probably happened before. I don't know if it happened at this race or not. So that's crazy. If it did happen, it probably happened when that car went sliding out where the entry gate was. So that's possibly could have happened there. 100% because I think they did get a wrecker out, and I don't think they needed the wrecker for the car. So maybe somebody's car was parked right there at the entry gate and got hit. The interesting thing is that's also where the emergency services were sitting at. So you could have had a real situation there if you took out the emergency services truck or whatever it's called. Yeah, it was a weird, freak, awkward thing too. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's unsafe. It was just it was like a perfect storm of things having to happen right there. They're building the first Wawa down the road from me right now in Indiana. I've never been to a Wawa. It's pretty much just like Sheets, but they have a little bit of a different menu, a little bit of a different swag about how they go about things. Got a super chat down here. Let me shoot down here and see what it says. Ooh, super far behind today. Camaro, what's up, my friend? Appreciate you there looking out. Always good to see you on the channel, my friend. Let's see. Let's see. Mac and cheese is everywhere every day. That's probably a fair statement. I guess you can have mac and cheese everywhere every day. $20 for a P20. That was Camaro's message. Yeah. That's the other thing I guess I didn't really talk about as much as I wanted to. Vicente Salas was our driver, and he is. I think he's got a chance to be super talented going forward. No doubt about it. He gave such great feedback, and we did knock the toe out. We accidentally took out the one car, so apologies to the one car. He feels terrible about it, like really, like legitimately feels terrible about it. And that's when we knocked the toe out. But even when he knocked the toe out, he was able to hold track position and still get that 20th finish. We actually were passing some cars at the end that I guess had used up their tires. I don't even know how that right front tire, the way that thing was towed out, I don't know how he kept the right front tire on that thing. But shout out to him. He made the best of a day that didn't go the way he wanted it to. And I think if he can get some seat time, I think he can be super special. So Vicente Salas, I think he was in the Coca-Cola iRacing series. If you're not familiar with him, he can drive cars in real life pretty good too. So shout out to him. Follow him if you ever see him racing anywhere. Good kid, great kid. Flow racing server crashing due to high demand is equal parts hilarious, frustrating, and not at all surprising. I don't think they thought that many people were going to watch this. I think they sort of fell, and I can't give them too much crap about it because they like Netflix couldn't keep up with the Tyson deal either. These guys are just going to have to figure out something going forward for streaming big events. Sponsored by State Farm. Wise guy says Krusty stuffing is good. Grandma makes it, and it's only twice a year. Says Shaw. That's a good point. So the rarity factor is a good point to add in there. Thanksgiving dinner is good, but the real treat is on Friday when Thanksgiving leftovers, grilled cheese sandwiches are made. Says Say Kyle. Yes, when you start not only just grilled cheese sandwiches, but just any you just start putting these weird combinations of food together because that's what's left over. And you know, you'll do like a ham and turkey with some stuffing and some cranberry sauce and throw some gravy on it. Like you just get these weird combinations of things going on with the leftovers. T Van in Scottsburg says Brinley Nicholson. Y'all making me hungry, says Krusty. I hope the EV series is similar to SRX and IROC. I hope so too. I think that would be a good way of going about it to get some initial interest into it. That's actually how they got the initial interest in the truck series. They had Cup drivers come down there and drive in it, and you had the very familiar schemes. You had Cup owners fielding the teams and things like that. Cheese with bacon, onion, and jalapeno twice baked potato into it is yummy. Yumminess says Crystal Sparkles. That is good. That is good. I do like to mix some things in with the mac and cheese. Sort of make like a what do they call that thing? Back before KFC was awful, you could mix, or at least around here, they've gone downhill around here. They had the bowls with the mac and cheese in them. They were pretty good. Deviled eggs with voodoo seasoning, says one wise guy. I'll have to try that one. How come late models don't look like production cars, but only show the front fascia of the production car, but not the rear end of the car? It's just the way they designed them. I don't know, buddy. They used to look like the old Cup cars from like '04 to '08. That they used to have like that bullet looking nose to them. Krusty, oh my God, number one. There you go, Brinley Nicholson. We don't do stuff in here. We make homemade dressing. Nothing wrong with that at all. Auto Club is not coming back. Says like this. Like I have a feeling that that's going to be the case as well. I don't disagree with you at all. But we have to wait until they make it official. That's why every time I talk about it, I do the air quotes. Let's see. No tail lights on the late models. Some of them have tail lights on them. You just have to. It depends on who's doing the wraps and stuff like that. Let's see. Cool that Turkey Day on charcoal indirect. I promise it won't be dry. Says Aaron Flynn. Yeah, and also you can deep fry them, and they won't be. You got to make sure that they're fully unthawed before you deep fry them. Deep frying them also will make them not as dry. I grill year round out here, says one wise guy. Crackle Barrel has a decent turkey dinner, but they run out early. The NASCAR Weekly Podcast is the NASCAR Weekly Podcast good? I never listened to it. It's great. They do a great job over there. Super good. So check them out every Wednesday during the season. And I think they announced what day it's going to be starting this year. So they do a great job over there. Good guys, good kids. Glad to see Tony Breitinger got a truck ride with Tricon Garage. Indeed, I left that out of the top of the opening there. Tony Breitinger is going to be with Tricon Garage. So good luck to her. And Mark, with the duality of drivers. One person wishing them good luck, and the next person calling them Danica 3.0. Mark Barnum calling her Danica 3.0. BB, you think KFB will drive a full Xfinity season once he retires? He's hinted at doing something like that, so we'll have to see. I think he would. And I think it would be good. Like just go get another championship, be the first guy to do all that, to get the 3 championships and the 3 series. If he's the first by the time that happens. Let me know when you sell the fire chicken flag, bro, says Krusty. All right, I will. I don't know if I'll ever sell it, but I'll let you know when I do. The only time I would ever sell that one, I think, is if I found a black one that looks like Burt Reynolds' car from Smokey and the Bandit. If I find a black one like that, I'll take the red one down. No grilling turkey dinner on the West Coast, Bakersfield, California. The streets of Bakersfield near Harvick Raceway been raining. It's had a raining forecast through Saturday. There you go. Dwight Yoakam has a good song about Bakersfield called "The Streets of Bakersfield." It's one of my favorite Dwight Yoakam songs. Good song. If you like country music or rock, I guess he's rockabilly. I don't know what the real difference is, but I guess there is a differentiation there. Let's see, who's better, the Jets or the Panthers? Says OJ and Toothpaste. It depends on whose quarterback is injured that week. I guess would be the answer. BB, do you watch the thing? I think the Jets have a better team, but the Panthers are making the most of what they got. if that makes any sense. BB, do you watch the Thanksgiving Day Parade or the dog show? Of course, football says in between the lanes. I don't watch the dog show. I rarely watch any parades unless I'm like actually at them. My ADD is so bad. I can't watch parades. Like they just, I don't know. I don't know. They can't hold my interest. Like the stuff that they're showing and talking about is never the most interesting stuff in the parade because all these companies and corporations have paid all this money for you to talk about this thing and that thing, and there's always way more interesting stuff in the parade that they're not actually showing. So I watch football and I check on my fantasy scores and yeah, stuff like that. Play on my phone for the most part when I'm not talking to people. When the little kids are outside or whatever. William Byron sells Dale Jr. On diecast run source. Trust me, bro. William Byron outsells Dale Jr. on every diecast run source. Trust me, bro. Says Say Kyle. So there you go. Say Kyle putting in a good word for Fast Willie B. I think if they did the right promotion with Jeff Gordon, he could probably get a run pretty close to the Dale Jr. thing. But I don't know. I don't know if anybody's going to surpass Dale Jr. It's I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. You can't call it a cult, but it's like a cult because it's not like he's setting up a belief system or anything like that. But it's literally like a cult. If he says he's going to be somewhere, they'll be there. But he's not. I don't know. He doesn't have an ideology or anything like that. It's just something he sort of stumbled into. I don't want to say stumbled into because he's a good driver. He's got 20 some wins. It's so hard to describe, man. Like it's just it's the damnedest thing I've ever seen in racing. Like it's crazy though. Like I'm glad I got to experience it. It's one of those cool things. I guess the only thing I could like compare it to is like a big rock and roll band, like back in the day, maybe Elvis or something like that. I've seen some video of Richard Petty. Richard Petty would get mobbed like that back in the day when he was at his peak. I just don't have anything in sports to really reference it to other than like Richard Michael Jordan in the Barcelona Olympics would be pretty close to it. It's a phenomenon, and if you ever get a chance to see it up close and personal, it is a legit phenomenon that you need to see up close and person. It's pretty wild, pretty wild. Best Marie Callender's garlic rolls pre-order for Thanksgiving, says Steve Lee. Marie Callender does good work. She got me through a lot of jams back in the day with the microwave dinners late at night when I was working second shift and stuff. If Truex Jr. went to trucks full time, it would get Bass Pro Shops Tundra TRD if it was available, just the regular version. Says in between the lanes, HMS sucks. Says like dislike. It's funny. BB speaking of 7-Eleven, practically go food shopping here. Get sodas, candles, pretty much some chips. I go once a month usually. They've got really good like actual food they make too. It's only they've got like an actual place where they cook and prepare all the food, and it's not too far away from the 7-Eleven I go to, so it's actually really fresh whenever I get it. So they're making a push for like actual like real in-store food now too. So they're trying to in their own way, I guess, have sort of that Wawa sheets type feel to it. Dinner time. I'll catch the rest later. Have a good night, y'all. Have a good night. Say Kyle. Go Magic, indeed. We're gonna make a run now that the Cavaliers have come back down to earth. We're coming for that number one spot. Tell us about Connor Jones. I heard he did something shady once again at Florence over the weekend, but I haven't heard what he did. Apparently, I don't know what happened. I haven't seen a replay of it, so I don't know who did what and who started what and whose fault it was and all that good stuff. But apparently, him and Mason Diaz got into a fight or something. Somebody threw some punches or something. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Tony isn't ready for trucks, says Thunder Strikes. So Thunder not a believer in Tony either. Tony Brightinger, by the way, is who we're talking about. So Thunder not a believer. We'll see what happens. We'll have to see what happens when she's driving. I'm not going to make a judgment until I see her driving the trucks. Let's see. Happy Turkey Day, and all y'all about to be fatty happy. Gonna go nappy, says Crystal Sparkles. BB, do you know if I'm the list for most popular test driver? I think we can get that one. I think we can win that one hands down, no doubt about it. We'll just make that our own award so that we win. That's the best way to do it. Just realize this BB not only stands for Bologna Burger, but also Baja Blast. Indeed, the Baja Blast Toyota Camry of In Between the Lanes. Top 20, hell yeah, says OJ and Toothpaste. Appreciate it. Referencing Camaro, his super chat there. in between lanes whenever I get Taco Bell. BB and I mentioned this before, but I always have to get Baja Blast. Yeah, it's one of the few places you can get it. So I don't know if that's like a I don't know contract they have or something like that, but it is interesting. That's one of the few places you can actually still get it. Redneck fries are the best, says one wise guy. Yep. If you ever go up to Langley, check them out. They're really good there. If we're catering to the military, what about the Humvee series, or how about a tank series? Says Dirty Def. A Humvee series would be outstanding. That would be phenomenal. Jeep would definitely get into that. Like you would have the Chevy Humvee. Jeep would come out with some type of Willys version of the Jeep Wrangler. And then you could sort of do it like Robbie Gordon's Super Truck series, where you're just taking them off sick jumps, racing them on dirt stadiums. That would be, you know what, I would be down for that. So we have now invented an actual cool SUV series. Me and Dirty Def, I think it was Dirty Def. Yeah, me and Dirty Def have created an actual cool SUV series. You're welcome, NASCAR. Does anybody care about most popular driver? Not really, because I know Chase Elliott's going to win it every year. So I don't know. Maybe if there was some actual competition for it, it might be something I keep track of. Not really lanes, says one wise guy. I sure don't. In between the lanes, says Lovey Barkley. Chick-fil-A has the best mac and cheese, says OJ and two. It is pretty good. Blue cheese dressing for the win, says OJ. I do like blue cheese as well. That's my go-to with certain wing or hot sauce type meals. Most popular driver is boring, says I like dislike. Just because Chase Elliott's going to win it from here until he retires, probably. Do they race on Thanksgiving on Earth too? Oh yeah, we race every day on Earth too. No days off. No days off. Grind culture on Earth too. Lovey Barkley, one wise guy, nice, says in between lanes. Big Bob Gibson's mac and cheese is pretty good. I've never had that one. I have to check that one out. They should do a poll for most disappointing driver. Who would be your vote? I'm voting John Hunter Nemechek, says OJ and Toothpaste. He'd have to be up there, wouldn't he? Either him or Eric Jones, man. They both had just Legacy Motor Club had such a disappointing year. I don't know how much you could put on the driver. I guess because JHN, I guess because he wrecked more, I would have to put him slightly above Eric Jones, but a lot of that was just Legacy was off. So I don't know what they really could have done with those cars anyway. Jets have talent, says in between the lanes. I agree. I think they got more talent than the Panthers, but I feel like the Panthers are maximizing what they've got. I think if the Jets maximize what they got like the Panthers were, they would have a much stronger record. I'll say that. Lovey Barkley, most disappointing drivers ever are Austin Dillon, Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe, and Harrison Burton. Changed my mind. I don't know, man. I think Austin Dillon's pretty good. Austin Cindric's pretty young into his career. Chase Briscoe, in my opinion, he's in a make or break year. Harrison Burton, he had a pretty disappointing career. But if you're gonna say Austin Dillon's career is more disappointing than like Cody Ware's career, that's a bit of a stretch. Austin Cindric's career is more disappointing, than somebody that's never gotten a top 10 or very few top 10s here and far. I don't know. I don't like to put names out there because that's just the way it goes. But I don't really see Austin Dillon and Austin Cindric and Chase Briscoe having a disappointing career. Harrison Burton, you can make a strong argument for because I think he was moved up too early, but I think he's still got time to improve. It's definitely baby steps, but Bryce has shown some improvement. I agree. They're getting the most with what they've got. I think so too. I think they're doing the best with what they got. And I don't know. Hopefully that franchise gets some help going forward in the front office. New York Giants are a miss. Glad Saquon left. He's cooking. Yeah, I wish Saquon would have cooked a little bit less because I had a great fantasy week, but the other guy had Saquon Barkley, so he won because Saquon got like close to 100 points all by himself. So that was that. Saquon beat me by himself almost. BB, who won on NASCAR's most popular driver on Earth 2? BJ McLeod. Let's go with BJ McLeod. Get loud for McLeod on Earth 2. BB, you think Ford will have a dry spell at the first half of the 2025 season like last year? Nah, I think Ford's got it figured out now. I think they'll come out. I think Toyota will come out pretty strong. I expect Chevrolet to have the down year because I just think that body is showing its age. So it's going to be a down year. And then depending on what they got for 2026 could either be a good year or a bad year for them, depending on how that body plays out. BB, I think my wish list is around 13 to 14 pages, not a specific driver. but it is almost their entire diecast lineup. Diecast Depot shop has to offer plus, even if they don't drive that particular car. Last week, the Celtics handed the Cavs their first loss of the season while we were on the stream last week, for sure. So hopefully they hand them some more in the future. How about they open the first 7-Eleven in Alabama, close to where I live, right at the Talladega exit? There you go. That was the first 7-Eleven. Of course, before that, it was called something else, and it was just a ice shop, if I'm not mistaken. So interesting history of 7-Eleven. I might make that video one day. You can get a Baja Blast in stores aside from Taco Bell or 7-Eleven. Says in between the lanes, Dale Jr. was talking about Jones in the car going off track and hitting a parked car on his podcast. So there you go. It was Jones that went off track and hit the parked car. Let's see. Mexican pizza is the best food from Taco Bell, says OJ and Toothpaste. I'm giving a tip for deviled eggs. Pour a little vinegar in the water while boiling. F. Chase Elliott's a T-Van. Not a huge Chase Elliott fan, it would appear. Let's see. They need to limit a person to one vote per email in the most popular driver votes. Yeah, maybe do a write-in ballots. I don't know. You'd have to do a lot of things to make Chase Elliott not win that. Why green bean casserole is not on the list? I'm guessing because you're limited to 4 on the list. By the way, yeah, for sure. That is actually green bean casserole was one that I thought about putting on there, but they only give me 4. So unfortunately, but yeah, green bean casserole is a good one to put on there. What's going on, Nicole? Glad to see you on here. I'm convinced everyone that lives in Dawsonville, Georgia, votes hundreds of times. I wouldn't put it past them. You might have to vote before you even walk into the door of the pool hall. BB, you had Stouffer's mac and cheese. Since you mentioned mac and cheese during the stream on the poll, I've had Stouffer's before. Let's see, Michelina's a little bit better than Stouffer's mac and cheese. But if I'm doing mac and cheese, like out of a box or something like that, I'm going to go with the shells and cheese, Kraft shells and cheese. That's sort of my go-to if I'm doing boxed, like a boxed version or whatever of mac and cheese. Stouffer's lasagna is a no-go, says OJ and Toothpaste. Stouffer's lasagna is actually pretty good relative to what it is, like for a boxed frozen deal. Earth 2, they race every weekend, so there's no championship or points. It's all about wins. That's right. Casey's and Come and Go run 7-Eleven out of Iowa a long time ago. Come and Go is now rebranded to something else, so it's no longer Come and Go. Mark Barnum, they've changed the name of them, or they're in the process of changing the names of them. Daniel Jones released by the Giants this week. Can't wait for somebody to pick him up and he becomes a good quarterback for them. Sometimes that's how these things work, so it'll be interesting to see. I went to the Giants game this past weekend to see my Tampa Bay Bucks stomp all over the Giants, says Escobar. Don't forget the collard greens for Thanksgiving, says Delmar Kaufman. Yep, indeed. I did mention them earlier, but yeah, collard greens is definitely one of my favorites for sure. No, he was bitching about Jones. He was talking about the park car separate stories, says I like, dislike. I'll have to go check it. I know it's like a 2-hour podcast. I'll have to go check it out. Hands, because he was on the whole other end. So we were in where he was parked at was turn 1. We were parked over in turn 4. So we were basically at opposite ends of the track. So what was going on down there where he was at, I couldn't see, and vice versa. Let's see. Hands up. This is a stick up. I'll have 5 bologna burgers on the house and a side of jalapeno poppers. Jalapeno, of course. I just like saying jalapeno. Says Evelyn. For sure. I do like jalapeno poppers. They're pretty good. I wish I could put them. I wish there was I wish I had like 100 options. I feel like I could fill up 100 sides there for sure. I always like Kyle Petty's 7-Eleven paint scheme while at Petty Enterprises. It was a good one for sure. BB is Despicable Me a good movie? It is a good movie. One of the all timers. The Minions make everything better. I think Casey's bought out Come and Go, says Mark Barnum. I can't remember who bought them out, but somebody definitely bought them out. And they're rebranding them to something else. I saw the story, I think, on Instagram, and then I was like, well, it's on Instagram, so I don't know if it's real or not. So then I actually researched it, and that was 15 minutes of my day right there. One day, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Let's see. Daniel Jones for 300K as a backup, says one wise guy. We'll take him in San Francisco. We need as many backup quarterbacks as we can get. We're always hurting a quarterback for some reason up there. Monday's download is worth the listen. Real question of the day: am I weird because I like a soggy cereal? Says like dislike. It just depends on which cereal it is. Some are too crunchy. Can you even get Captain Crunch to be soggy? That's the real question. Is it possible to have soggy Captain Crunch with crunch berries? Of course, because who would eat it without crunch berries? Minions 2, the best out of the four, in my opinion. Says OJ and toothpaste. Minions 2 is the best out of the four, in my opinion. Does RC Cola still exist? RC Cola does still exist, and we have it at the Dollar General where I live. Supermax is a four-time champion after the Vegas Grand Prix. Yeah, so shout out to Max Verstappen, four-time F1 champion. So good for him. And that one got deleted. So we'll see where we're at with the poll question here. 42% going with stuffing, 16% going with biscuits or rolls, mac and cheese at 8%, and a solid 34% for mashed potatoes with gravy. So mashed potatoes and gravy and stuffing, by far of the options here, running away with the best side for Thanksgiving. How is Tony B going to do in trucks? Going off ARCA and going off what I've seen her do for when she drove for Lee Falk and late model, I think she'll probably be at first like 12th to 20th. I'm thinking she'll be somewhere in that range. And when you're running 12th to 20th, that's where all the squirrels are at. So there's a good chance she'll be in a lot of wrecks. But she's got certain tracks that she's better at than others. So there will be, I think there will be flashes where she has like maybe a top 10 or something like that. But I would say solidly 12th to well, she's a rookie, so 12th to 25th because she's a rookie. That's probably where you're going to see her run most of the time. She has a pretty good ability to finish races though, so I think she'll get more finishes than you've seen other young drivers get. Some drivers are just really good at staying out of wrecks and stuff. So if she can continue that in the truck series, which will be like skill level, maximum because they like to wreck a lot in the truck series. I think you can see like 12th to 25th place is reasonable for her. Dr. Thunder is the official soda of Earth 2. That and Cactus Coolers. It's a tie. It's a tie. Mercedes 1-2 finish. George Russell dominated. BB, do you think Hamlin passes Harvick on the wins list before he retires? That's a great question. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm gonna say no. But I don't know because you never know with Denny Hamlin. I think he's gonna have to play one catch-up year because he's got a new crew chief. But if they click, then you could see him make a run and get to Harvick. Let's see. Dr. Thunder. I love Dr. Thunder. Says like dislike. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Says one wise guy. Also like scallop potatoes. Scallop potatoes are really good. Tony has 23 top tens in ARCA. Says Lovey Barkley. Yeah, ARCA a little bit different than trucks. Like I said, she'll be a rookie. So this year, I think 12th to 25th most of the time is where she's gonna run. But I do think you'll see some top tens in there from time to time. I don't think Tony is ready for trucks, uh, but I know she will have some great schemes. Says Team FT. She'll definitely have some great schemes, and she's in a really good truck at Tricon too. So that's another thing. How many races until the Fox booth says something inappropriate slip about Tony B? Says Sir Wood Rooster. Probably not any. I wouldn't imagine. I don't know. Tony will Tony finish better than Malcolm in the middle? Says Escobar. I think Malcolm has a little bit better experience than her, so I would, and he's got more experience at that level already anyway. So I would say Malcolm will probably have the better finishes of those two. If I had to answer that one, if Moxie is Moxie the best soda on Earth too? I've never had Moxie, so I couldn't answer that. Mark Barnum likes how Tony looks. I think I've talked about this on previous live streams. Does Mavis Tire and Brakes take over as the primary sponsor for James Dennis Allen Hamlin? I think it's going to be a combination of Mavis Tires, Interstate Batteries, and just the stuff that they normally have over there. I think it'll just be a combination of that, and you might get one additional sponsor jumping on. Frankie Munoz is the GOAT. Malcolm in the middle. Tony has a better team. I wouldn't be surprised if she runs better than him. Yeah, that's a fair statement too. Moxie tastes like cough syrup. It did before they made it with flavor. Says PC gone rude. Wouldn't. Yeah, I'm with you. I understand what you're saying there, Escobar. You wouldn't be surprised if Tony runs better because she's in a better equipment. Yeah, that's a fair statement. So yeah, but It'll be interesting. Truck Series and Xfinity, as always, will have good, interesting stories for next season. I like Atlanta as race two. That's all I got, says Lovey Barkley. Atlanta as race two was always good. Kyle, Pepsi or Coke? I'm a Pepsi person, personally. I'm from North Carolina, so I go Pepsi. In between the lanes, sport clips as well, along with interstate batteries for James Dennis, Allen Hamlin, and other sponsors. Yeah, Yahoo will probably be on there. Just the typical Joe Gibbs ones. Everything except Bass Pro Shop. Tony B, Haley D, and Natalie Decker in a pay per view match race. Uh, it depends on what kind of cars they're driving. I don't know. That's a tough one. It might be a tie between Tony B and Haley Deegan there in that three way. Uh, I don't think Natalie's there on their level as a race car driver yet. She's trying really hard and she's working hard at becoming a better race car driver, but I don't think she's on Tony or Haley's level yet. But that's just how I see it. I could be totally wrong. If you're a Natalie Decker fan, sorry. It is what it is. That's just how I see it. LOL, skip that one, didn't you? I didn't skip it. I just reworded it. That's right. Yahoo says in between the lanes. I wonder if Frankie will make some ARCA starts again. If not, who might run some races in the 30? We saw guys like Daly and Lupton in the car. Says Team FT. Yeah, I think Frankie's got a lot of talent. I think he just needs a full season. Denny will suck as usual, says Mark Barnum. I hope Chastain can have his beer can, his beer car in NASCAR 25. I don't think he will. I don't think he will because they'll be going for that E for everyone rating. Outside of Bass Pro Shops, who else takes over as Briscoe's sponsor? He'll probably bring some of the stuff he had. I, I, I'm really interested to see if Rush Truck Centers comes over there with them. But I think he will. I think he'll bring Mahindra over there with him. So might be all he needs. Mahindra and Bass Pro Shops might be all he needs. You'll probably see South Point or no, what is he? High Point. You'll probably see High Point on there as well at some point. They seem to go everywhere he goes. So those will be the ones I can think about. I don't know about we, but I hope we can get a beer car in a NASCAR game, says Lovey Barkley. And good luck. Good luck. I think they're still going for the for all that. Mahindra Tractor is High Point, maybe get Interstate as well. Yeah, he'll probably get some of the regular Joe Gibbs sponsors as well. Speaking of Rush Truck Centers, hopefully we see Boyer in a truck again, says Team FT. I hope they can make that deal happen again as well. He ran pretty good the one time he was in there. So hopefully that's enough to keep them on the sponsorship hook. With Xfinity being on CW next year, do you think some of their races have a higher rating than the Cup Series? There's a good chance that could happen. Maybe there might be one magic race where that can happen. We'll have to see. Did you see Kyle Busch's 3 car was banned? I think it's only the one with the leaf on it. I think they can run the other schemes. So I think it's just one version of it. It's not the entire sponsor. I've been watching the 91. I've been watching the 91 season. The Bud 500 at Bristol was crazy, says like dislike. 91 season has a good ending to it. I know that. Kyle, do you know of Carson Ware's music? I have heard some people talk about Carson Ware's music. A lot of people like it. I haven't heard it myself personally, but he has a little bit of a following there for sure. JGR Paint Booth kind of flatline this year, says Lovey Barkley. Yeah, they've gone super conservative with their stuff. I believe the races, the Cup Series runs on Prime will get lower ratings than the Xfinity Series. That's going to be interesting because Prime has a lot of viewers. So I don't know. It's just going to be really interesting to see how it plays out on Prime. It could go either way. I really have no idea. I have no idea, or I really have no opinion on it. That's the one BB with the leaf. So there you go. They just don't want the leaf on there. I knew that. NASCAR is really picky about what you can put on the car. Boo Prime, says Mark Barnum. So he's not an Amazon Prime guy. Checked out Carson stuff for the first time last night. Really like one of his songs, but mostly his stuff just isn't my type of music, says Team FT. Pat McAfee is a dog, says in between the lanes. He got that dog in him. Pat McAfee. He's just a chill guy though, really. He's got that dog in him. No, he does not have that dog in him. He's not a chill guy. He's always wide open. I'm excited for TNT to come back, says Lovey Barkley. That'll be pretty cool. Pretty cool for sure. Mac Brown got fired at UNC. So this is the second time Mac Brown's been fired, or at least the second time Mac Brown's been fired at UNC in my lifetime, which is interesting. So good luck to them finding another good head coach there, because he took a pretty bad program and made it good, and now they're back to being. They've had a few bad seasons, so unfortunately, I'm a Duke fan, but I'm sticking up for Mac Brown here. I don't know, but I'm at some point the game passes everybody by, so it is what it is. McAfee show is good stuff. PC gone rogue. Thumbs down for Prime. Aaron Rodgers Tuesday says in between the lanes on the Pat McAfee show. I wish GM would come back with the Goodwrench name again. They did away with the whole thing. Yeah, they basically just got rid of that whole thing. They still have the naming rights to it, so they can still use it though. Bologna Burger Bowl on Sunday says in between the lanes. There you go. Bologna Burger Bowl on Sunday. Are we bowling or are we football bowling? All kinds of interpretations for that. Triple B right here, right there. It says in between the lanes. There you go. The Triple B, the Bologna Burger Bowl. All right. Looks like we've reached the end of the chat. So until next time, I'll take them easy. Have a good Thanksgiving. We better see Kyle cooking the burgers, says Evelyn. We'll see. I got rid of cable. Looks like IndyCar and Xfinity are my go-to next year. Whatever CeeLo on the go with CeeLo has. On the go with CeeLo. Check him out if you want to check out streaming. I wanted to give you props for saying the live stream that the Cup Series champion would win the final Phoenix race. Said Sir Wood Rooster. Appreciate you, my friend. I will get the 30-day free trial for Prime during the races they have. Well, there you go. You've at least got to work around for this season, Delmer. Good night to you as well, Lovey Barkley and Delmer Kaufman with the checker flag. All right. Until next time, y'all take them easy. Peace.